You are welcome to Company and Partnership Law class. Today we will deal with Unit 1, Session 1. Unit 1 is on Partnership Law in Ghana. Its Session 1 is on Meaning and Registration of Partnership. Now the session objectives. By the end of this session, you should be able to identify the law governing partnership in Ghana, define partnership and know the conditions for the existence of partnership. And lastly, understand the processes for registration of partnership in Ghana. The first subtopic you consider is law governing partnerships in Ghana. What is the main law that governs partnership in Ghana? The Incorporated Private Partnership Act 1962, Act 152, is the main act that governs the activities of partnership firms in Ghana. Now, the act came into force on 1st January 1963. However, there has been amendments to this act. The first one is the Incorporated Private Partnership Amendment Act 1980, Act 423. The second one is the Incorporated Private Partnerships Amendment Act 1997, Act 532. The third one is the Incorporated Private Partnership Amendment Act 2001, Act 605. And the last one is the Incorporated Private Partnerships Amendment Act 2012, Act 836. So these are the amendments that have been made to the original act. Now, what is partnership? Section 3 of Act 152 as amended defines partnership as the association of two or more individuals carrying on business jointly for the purpose of making profits. Now you have to pay attention to these two or more individuals. It's one of the key elements in the definition. Then business as another element of the definition, and lastly profits. I will explain this element when we get to the conditionality for the existence of partnership. Now, section 4, subsection 2 of Act 152 stipulates that the maximum partners for a partnership is 20. Now, you should also note that this maximum number of 20 does not affect professionals like accountants, lawyers, among others. It means that if you fall within that category, then the number of members of partners can be more than 20. Other than that, you have to stay within the limit of 20. Partners include the sole surviving or continuing partners. Now, the following are excluded from the ambit of Act 152. It means that what we are going to discuss now will not be considered as partnership firms. A company registered under Companies Act will not be considered as a partnership. Now, in the case of Mason and others versus Edu, stated that corporation cannot form a partnership with a natural person. What this means that if you pick a company and if you pick an individual, these two cannot form partnership firm. So, for instance, if you pick Kasapreko Company Limited and you pick Kofi, they cannot run partnership firm because the definition of partnership is that two or more individuals. Here we are talking about natural persons, not artificial persons like company. Also, statutory corporation cannot be considered as partnership firm. Unincorporated association formed under any act of parliament or any foreign law. You should also know that joint venture without firm name. So if you run a joint venture without firm name, it will not be considered as partnership firm. Foreign co-ownership of property used to operate business to generate profit for sharing will also be considered as partnership firm. A typical example is when your family has cocoa farm, then the cocoa is harvested, and the money that they will get from it, the family decide to use the money to run a business. That business will not be considered as partnership, even though the members of the family are going to share the profit. A body corporate formed in accordance with the law of any foreign country, whether or not carrying on business in Ghana, is also excluded from the definition of partnership. Now, you want to look at conditions of the existence of a partnership. If you are saying that a particular business is a partnership business, what are the indications? We have three things that must exist before we can consider that this is a partnership firm. Now, the first element is that there should be a business. There should be a business. Here, the business that we are referring to, it could be a trade or a profession. So, any trade or occupation or profession that two or more people will come together to engage, it could be considered as a partnership firm. So if you are considering partnership, that element of business should exist. Then you have two or more persons. Here you're looking at artificial, you're not looking at artificial persons, you're looking at natural persons. So two or more people might decide to come together to form a partnership business. The minimum number of people who can form a partnership is 2. The maximum is 20, as we saw it in section 4, subsection 2 of Act 152. As I indicated earlier on, the maximum does not affect professional bodies like lawyers, accountants, among others. Then you should have profit elements with the aim of making profit for sharing. Now, the profit here is your sales over all your deduction. Your sales over all your deduction. So when you deduct all your expenses from your sales, your net profit is what you are talking about. So this will be shared among the partners. You also have to know that the fact that a servant or an employee is receiving a portion of the profit as his or her remuneration does not give him or her the chance to be considered as a partner. So you have to pay attention to, even though the partners operate with the aim of making profit for sharing. However, if you are a servant or an employee and you get a share of the profit as your remuneration, you cannot be considered as a partner. Now, registration of partnership firms. There are two main documents that you have to register before you can operate as a partnership firm. We have the statement and what you call the partnership agreement. These documents should be in a prescribed form and signed by all the partners and must be submitted or delivered to the registrar for registration. Now you should know that the statement contains certain particulars, what is captured under section 5 of Act 152. So the statement that we are talking about, it contains certain elements or certain particulars, and these particulars are outlined under section 5 of Act 152. You can also refer it to your manual, section 1.4 of the manual, precisely. Now let's elaborate on few of the particulars. So you need the company's name, the address. You need the partnership firm name. You also need the address of the partnership firm. You also have to state the object of the partnership firm. You also have to indicate the names of the partners, and the date of commencement of the partnership firm, the charges created, if any. Then after that, you submit this document to the registrar. Now you submit this in addition with the partnership agreement. Partnership agreement is also known as the partnership deed. This partnership deed or agreement regulates the activities of the partners. So it states the do's and don'ts of the partnership business. It basically contains rules and regulations that governs the partners and their relations with the partnership firm. For instance, how profit and loss will be shared, how capital will be contributed in case there's an admission of a new partner. How should they go about it? When there's a dispute, how would they resolve it? All these elements can be found in the partnership agreement. Now, after submitting the statement and the partnership agreement, if everything is intact, the registrar will proceed to register the partnership firm on condition that the partners will pay a prescribed fee. So it means that if you don't pay the prescribed fee, your partnership firm will not be registered. Now, it is not automatic that if you submit your statement and partnership agreement, the registrar should go ahead to register your partnership firm. There are certain grounds that the registrar will base to refuse your registration. So the grounds for refusal of registration: one, any of the businesses which the partnership has been carried on or is to carry on is unlawful. Basically, what you are saying is that if the business that you want to carry is unlawful, it will be rejected. If the name of the firm is misleading or undesirable, then the registrar is going to refuse you registration. Any of the partners is an infant or of unsound mind or undischarged bankrupt. Infant here, you mean someone below the age of 18. Or if you're unsound mind or undischarged bankrupt, it will be a basis for the registrar to refuse you registration. Also, if you have been convicted for the past 5 years on the grounds of dishonesty or fraud, the registrar will base on this to refuse your registration of your partnership business. The next point you want to consider is when the statement is incomplete or inaccurate, when there are errors in your particulars or your document, the registrar will refuse registration and ask you to go and do the appropriate thing. By way of summary, in this session, we stated that the law governing the operations of partnerships in Ghana is the Incorporated Private Partnership Law of 1962 at 152. We also define partnership to mean association of two or more individuals carry on business jointly with the purpose of making profit. And we indicated that two or more individuals, natural persons, business, profit are the main conditions for the existence of partnership firm. We also look at the registration process of registering partnership firm. I believe you enjoyed the session. Thank you very much and see you in the next session. Bye for now.